Straight makeup, they are day-to-day makeup. They are the makeup that we put on every day. But in most cases, we also have other special makeup that one can say, one can look at it from perspective of the bridal makeup. There are some special makeup that has to do with colors, that has to do with rules. And for those makeup that are guided by rules, they are what we call special straight makeup, because you have to follow their rules in details. For example, bridal makeup, or the makeup you need to do for any white color job. And likewise, some makeup that has to do with that has some special way of doing them, like you doing makeup for a prostitute. But even in doing makeup for prostitute, there are classes. There are classes of such makeup for prostitutes. So we discover that we have classes of makeup. While we have the casual makeup, the casual one has to do with the way you like yourself to look like. The way you want yourself to look like is what we call your casual makeup. And that one does not guide by any rules. But despite that, modesty is one of the rules. But at times, but in most cases, whereby you need to do a kind of caricature in comedy, the way you approach comedy in makeup is different from the way you approach either tragedy or whatever. The joy of a particular script has to do with the type of makeup that suffice for such scripts. The makeup that suffice for a tragic script is absolutely different from the makeup that suffice for comedy, because in comedy you have what is called caricature. In comedy you have what is called character, slapstick character. You have at times, due to their incoherent elements. So you discover that all these features has to do with your own approach to the makeup. So that is why you discover that some stock character wear a particular makeup that identify them. So in comedy, there is tendency for you to have an identity. The identity has to do with the stock character. What I mean by stock character is a character is somebody that play a particular role that is well known for that role in every movie. They play the role. Whenever you see them, you know it's time for laughter. Well, that is why we call them stock character. And they are the type of makeup they usually put on. Most time, they have to do with a kind of identity. And that is why in some cases, the way they do their makeup may not be coherent with the nature or with what is going on with the script, or with the trend of that particular script is allowed. But in a tragic play, you would discover that the approach to tragic play has to do with reality, except the concept of the director. And that is why you consider many factors in your makeup. One of the factors you consider is one of the factors you consider is the costume, the set design, the color of the set design. You consider a lot, including the lighting, before you do your makeup. Maybe, for example, in a situation whereby you have a night party, maybe there's a night party in a film, and that night party you are having abnormal light of different colors. You, as a makeup artist, you need to consider the materials to use in terms of your color. likewise, the costumier, the set designer, and every other design element. And that is why we look at it from perspective of collaborative efforts. So we work together as designers, and you look at, okay, what is happening in sets, what's color of the sets, what's color of the lighting. You look at the color of the lighting. Those things are determined factors concerning what the application of what you, or the approach that suffice for what you are going to use. If you're having abnormal light, for example, there are certain colors you just have to do away with, because if you use them, you will discover that you are trying to create what is called color riots. In order for you not to do that, you have to put a lot of things into consideration. And that is why, as a makeup artist, you need to study your script very well. The discussion with every other crew is also paramount. So let's look at the second one, that's to do with character makeup. Looking at character makeup from the word character, that is the type of makeup that alters an actor's look without a trace. It alters a particular actor without tracing the actor. So in character makeup, we have what we call an aging and de-aging. And aging is when you increase somebody's age, while the aging is when you reduce somebody's age. And in character makeup, because there are certain makeup, though I'm not going to discuss that, we call them fancy or fantasy makeup. I'm not going to discuss that now. But there are makeup that fall into that category of fantasy or fancy makeup. But there are also makeups that look like fantasy, but they are under character makeup. So there are makeups that after applying that makeup, you discover that you will not be able to recognize the actor. So, and if you're not able to recognize the actor, some of the makeups that one may not be able to recognize the actor fall into the category of character, while some may be fantasy. But maybe for other, for advanced class or whatever, we may discuss other types of makeup. So let me cite an example of such makeup. In those days of the film of Mount Zion, the gods are dead. The person that plays Wingoroye, when we look at the character, we discover that is the kind of makeup application fall under character makeup. So, and we would deduce there are a lot of approach to this character makeup. There are a lot of things one need to consider before choosing a particular or what to do, or before doing a character makeup for an actor. One of those things, you look at the genre of that script. You look at the status of that character. You look at the characterization. Very, very important. Before you could say that, okay, this is what I'm going to do. The characterization is one of the yardstick that one uses in order not to miss what to do. So, and apart from that, you look at your director approach. How do you look at this? How is that person look like? You look at the physique of that person. What is the physique talking about? You look at the hyper, you look at the facial of that person. What is it talking about? And before you could administer a character makeup. Okay, let's look at the third one. The third one has to do with what is called ethnic or racial. This type of the ethnic or racial makeup. These are the type of makeup that most times we often see in epic movies. This is the type of makeup that talks about a particular race. It depicts the belief, at times the hairdo, the color, the complexion of a particular race. Vividly, we would know and we would discover that even after applying this makeup, one will be able to deduce where that person's come, the race, where that person, the ethnic, where that person belongs to. These are the type of makeup that, in approaching such makeup, one will need to consider a lot of things. The duration of that script, what the script is trying to say. Is it talking about now? For example, Esin Ajoji. that's talking about with an incident that has happened long time ago. So you look at how they dress in that period, the kind of makeup that is in vogue. Do they put on makeup, or what kind of makeup do you think that could be sufficed at that period? You look at that before you approach such type of makeup. You look at generally this social tribe, how you look at their look. The look of a Fulani man is quite different from the look of a typical Yoruba man. The look of an Igbo man is quite different from the look of a thiefist man or thief or whatever. You discover that the Lord has made it in such a way that every ethnic, they have their own diverse or a specific identity that is tantamount to that particular tribe. So that means as a makeup artist, you need to portray the identity of that tribe that the script is talking about. So you need to sort out for materials, you need to sort out for what to do that will make what you want to portray to look real. So that is a factor you consider in ethnic or racial makeup. Then talking about special effects. Special effects could be a kind of notion that an artist or makeup artist is trying to pass across to the audience, though the notion may be from the script. But most times in your special effects, the makeup artist does not need to tell the audience that this is what I wanted to do. But the audience should be able to deduce it from the look of what you've done, that this is what this person is trying to do. So looking at special effects, we'll discover that a lot of materials are involved in special effects. Maybe for advanced class, we will do that. But before I close, I would like to discuss faces. I will discuss it briefly. Maybe if we have advanced class, we will discuss the approach to every faces. So I will discuss that in this class.